the best way to build confidence is you have to first establish trust with yourself. And so it leads to this next question. How do you establish trust with yourself? Because obviously I gave you the full circle moments in my life of how I've done these things, but how does someone that's struggling with self-doubt go about building trust? And so the biggest thing I would say to focus on is one, it's the small moments that build towards momentum. So this is going to sound so stupid, but one of the ways that I started to build trust with myself is as I told myself I was going to do things, I made sure to fulfill those things. And sometimes the best way to build momentum is you have to make whatever the task is that you're trying to accomplish, you have to make it so small you can't possibly fail. And that is something they always say a lot of times with like building habits. You have to make it so small that it's almost like you can't necessarily like mess it up. And so one of the things I used to have to do, it's going to sound crazy, but like one of the things I used to say doing my laundry is I would give myself a deadline that it's like my laundry needs to be done by, if I started it in the morning, it has to be done by tonight. And what does that mean? I'm washing it, it's in the basket, and it's in my room. And then I would slowly start to build upon it where it was like, okay, I'm washing it, it's in my room, and it's folded. And it's folded, and then it's put away. Like, and it was things like that. And as you start to do, in that example, those are physical like exercises where it's like, as I'm doing it, I'm building trust within myself. But then you have these moments where you need to build trust with yourself, kind of similar in the way that you would build trust with a friend, where obviously, yes, it's doing the things that you say that you're going to do. And then there's the follow through. But then you have those moments with your friends where what do? You talk, you have honest conversations, you open up because then it builds connection within you. And so how do you talk to yourself? And so one of the biggest things I would do is I would journal, because a lot of times those ideas that are swirling in your head that it's like, I can't do this, I'll never be this, because sometimes you need to see them, you have to validate them, and they have to be heard so you can move forward. So if you keep having this swirling feeling that it's like, well, I messed up here before, writing it down, taking time to process it and to write it down, to focus on it, it's kind of like when you're driving in a car and there's this obstacle in front of you. Most people wouldn't just drive down this obstacle if you don't know what it is or how it's going to damage your car. What you do is you have to first acknowledge it. Okay, I see that it's there, but what do? Well, you would do one of the logical things. You'd either go around it, you'd either turn around. But the thing is, you know that it's there. So just like with the self-doubt, just like with the voices, just like all the negativity, it's there. You got to acknowledge it somehow. So with the journaling, you're writing it, you're putting it down, you're putting it on paper, you're acknowledging its existence. And then you get to validate it, where it's like, okay, I can see why you feel this way. And then it could be one of those things like, do we see that this is still true, or is this just a past experience that's just trying to eke forward? And then that's where it's like, it's the seeing, it's the hearing, and it's the validating. And then ultimately it's the moving forward from there, because it's a way of processing those feelings. And just because you did something in the past doesn't mean that has to be the patterns that you continue to move forward with today.